3 years after the outbreak of an unprecedented crisis with Moscow and a war with pro-Kremlin rebels, Ukraine is experiencing a deep diplomatic chill with its western neighbors that risks dampening EU support for Kiev. Tensions have risen between Ukraine and its western neighbors. Tensions flared in September when Ukraine adopted a controversial education law that seeks to oblige schools to teach in the Ukrainian language. The move rattled not only Moscow but nearly all of Kiev's neighbors to the west, who saw the legislation as a threat to their national minorities in the ex-Soviet country. In addition to ethnic Russians, Ukraine has sizable communities of Romanians, Hungarians, Poles, and other groups with roots in neighboring countries. Romanian President Klaus Iohannis in September cancelled a visit to Ukraine in protest against the law, while nationalist Hungary went as far as threatening to block Kiev's rapprochement with the European Union. Kiev and Warsaw have also been involved in a dispute over historical memory after the Polish parliament reopened a dispute over the World War II massacre of tens of thousands of Poles by Ukrainian nationalists, officially recognizing it as a genocide last year. The Polish right-wing government has accused Kiev of insufficiently condemning the massacres. Warsaw also created a blacklist for what Polish Foreign Minister Witold Waszczykowski called people with an anti-Polish stance, under which 2 Kiev officials were banned from traveling to the country earlier this month. In response, Ukraine summoned Poland's ambassador. Ties have also soured with the fellow ex-Soviet nation of Belarus and Kremlin-friendly Serbia. Last week, Belarus accused a Minsk-based Ukrainian journalist of spying for Kiev and declared a senior Ukrainian diplomat a persona non grata. Ukraine expelled a Belarusian diplomat in a tit-for-tat move. On top of that, Serbia this month recalled its ambassador to Ukraine for consultations after Kiev expressed concern over Serbian nationals fighting alongside pro-Russian rebels in the east of the country in a conflict that has killed over 10,000 people since 2014. Russia annexed the Crimea Peninsula in 2014 and war erupted in the east of the country between Kiev and Moscow-backed separatist rebels. Ukrainian experts chalked up the disputes to a change of tone in Kiev, which is searching for a new post-Soviet identity and trying to impose its vision of the country's domestic politics on the outside world. Ukraine is trying to understand what it is and what its national politics should look like, said Daria Gade, an analyst at the Kiev-based New Europe Center. This naturally provokes tensions as Ukraine was until now an amorphous state. Since gaining independence in 1991, Ukraine has struggled to find its own political path, caught in a tug-of-war between Russia and Europe over its future direction. A popular uprising in Kiev in 2014 led to a collapse of a Kremlin-backed regime and brought pro-Western forces to power. A month later, Russia annexed Ukraine's Crimea Peninsula and war erupted in the east of the country between Kiev and Moscow-backed separatist rebels.